नारायणाय परिपूर्णगुणार्णवाय विश्वोदयस्थितिलयोन्नियतिप्रदाय ज्ञानप्रदाय विबुधासुरसौख्यदुःखसत्कारणाय वितताय नमो नमस्ते। श्री वेदव्यासाय नमः। श्रीमद् आनंदतीर्थाय नमः। श्री हरिआनंदनाथाय नमः। श्री श्रीधरानंदनाथाय नमः। सकल गुरुपरंपराय वंदे। शरीरं यद्वाप्नोति यच्चाप्यत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीतैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयत्. This is a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 15, shloka number 8, and the name of the chapter is Purushottama Yoga. Before we go more in detail about the meaning and the message behind this particular shloka, I would like to tell you two important aspects. Number one is the context, and number two is the spiritual science. Now, what I mean by the context is, in Dwapara Yuga, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna refuses to fight the battle against Kauravas, Lord Krishna is prompted to advise Arjuna and make him understand how important the battle is from the point of the welfare of the mankind. And these preachings run into 18 chapters, and all these 18 chapters put together is called as Bhagavad Gita. The shloka that I have selected today is one of the 700 shlokas contained in 18 chapters. Now, coming to the second aspect, that is spiritual science. Whenever we make an attempt to understand our religions, whatever religion one may belong to, it is necessary for him to understand the relation between Atma and Paramatma. And this philosophy is called as Brahma Sutra. In Vaidika Dharma, there were 564 Brahma Sutras, but there are only about 3 Brahma Sutras which are in practice, namely Dvaita, Advaita and Vishishtadvaita. Before we make an attempt to understand what Dvaita, Advaita and Vishishtadvaita is, we need to know what Aatman is. Again, according to Vedic Hindu Dharma, this body is divided into 2 parts. Number 1 is Stula and number 2 is Sukshma. Stula is this 3-dimensional body and Sukshma is Atma. As Stula is a tangible one, it is perishable, but whereas Atma is non-perishable because it is intangible. Then what is this Atma? Atma is always in the form of Vayu, and hence Atma is also called as Prana. Now, when it comes to the relation between Atma and Paramatma, the 3 philosophies that we're talking about, Dvaita, Advaita and Vishishtadvaita, Advaita always believed that Atma and Paramatma are always at par. Vishishtadvaita believed that Atma and Paramatma are at par only in Vaikuntha. But so far as Advaita is concerned, it always believed that Atma and Paramatma cannot be at par at any point of time, whether it is on earth or even it's in Surga. Then which is the right philosophy? And to be more precise, if you take Dvaita philosophy, it sounds more logical, because when we try to understand the origin of Atma, it will be very clear for us as to whether Atma and Paramatma can be rated at par or not. Because Atma, which is always in the form of Vayu, this Vayu has been created by that Paramatma himself. Then how do we justify? To justify this, we may have to refer Purusha Sukta of Rigveda, wherein Paramatma says, Mukhad indrascha mishya pranad vayura jayata. He says, I have created Agni and Indra from my mouth, and Vayu from my Atma, from my prana. And hence what it means is, Vayu itself is Atma, and Atma is always in the form of Vayu. And since Atma and Vayu are the same, it's also called as prana. From this it's very clear that Vayu, or Atma, is created by the Paramatma, and hence Atma and Paramatma cannot be at par, because creation cannot be superior than creator. Creator is always superior than the creation. Hence, it is always Dvaita which is the right way to go about the Brahma Sutras. And this is exactly what being taught to us by Srimad Madhvacharya, and this philosophy, Dvaita philosophy, can be treated as the most authenticate philosophy about Brahma Sutra. Now coming to the topic of the shloka that we have selected for today's Nirupana. This particular shloka mainly points at rebirth. But when we use the term rebirth, there are different opinions, different arguments regarding the rebirth, because some believe that there is one more life after death, many believe there is no life after death. Then what is the reality? Is there another life after death? But this shloka, if you study, analyze critically, we learn that there is a life after death, and the reason behind the rebirth also. During the discourse of Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna says, Arjuna, if at all you are of the opinion that it is me, that is Paramatma, decides about your another life, you are wrong. It is not me who decides about your another life, but it is you who decide about another life. Arjuna says, how come? Then Krishna says, Shariram yadva apnoti yacha petkamati shvaraha gruhitaitani samyati vayur gandhani vashe. What it means is, Arjuna, the way when the wind blows from one place to another, it carries the smell along with it. Very similarly, there is something called Yatishvara, Atma, who is in Vayu Swarupa. When he leaves this body, he carries the smell of desires from this body. But the best thing about this Vayu is that, this wind is that, when the wind blows, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't think as to the smell that I'm carrying is good or bad. Irrespective of the quality of the smell, it still carries. Very similarly, that Atman doesn't discriminate. He carries all the desires, those could be good or bad. Then what does he do? What does the Atma do when he leaves the body? The Atma has only two options. When he leaves the body, he has only two options. The first option is attain moksha, go to Swarga. And the second option is take one more birth. Now the question arises to which is the soul which goes to moksha and the soul which goes to another life. That's exactly what the shloka says. An Atma which has nothing to carry from this body will go to moksha, it will attain moksha. But a soul which is full of desires, it could be good or bad, it has to ensure that it takes another life so that it can fulfill the desires that it is carrying. So it takes birth in that yoni which suits the desire. Hence, Arjuna, now you decide. You have come to this earth as a Panduputra. There is a definite purpose behind it. And the most important purpose of this life is to ensure that you established dharma on Prithvi and you don't take another life after the death. And if at all you don't do so, it's most likely that at the time of death, the soul inside you will carry the desires that prevail in the body and take one more life. Now, if at all you want to take one more life, you can go ahead. But if you feel that this should be the last life, then please wake up. Fight this battle out. Re-establish dharma and safeguard the interests of the public in large. And that definitely appeals to Arjuna, and he goes about fighting the battle out and establishes dharma in Dwapara Yuga. Now very similarly, what does it take for us? There are a lot of things we as a common man to learn. We are no way different from Arjuna. Our status is very similar to that of Arjuna. We have come to this earth with a definite purpose, and the purpose is to ensure that we don't have to take another birth after the death. If at all you want to do something, do all that and ensure that the Atman, when it leaves this body, has nothing to carry and it straight goes to moksha, attain mukti. But how do you do that? You can only do that provided you have groomed your soul in such a fashion that it ensures that it doesn't carry anything from this body, or it ensures that nothing left in this body to carry when it leaves this body. And this is possible only by the samskaras prescribed in Hindu religion. Now the question arises as to how far it is true that the samskaras prescribed in Hindu religion, or any religion for that matter, ensure that the Atman is properly groomed. And the best example would be this. If suppose tomorrow morning when you get up, and the moment you get up from the bed, if someone asks you to have your food, will you do that? You will not do that. You will say, no, I cannot. I cannot have my food until I have had my bath. And if the next question happens to be why, you will say, no, my soul, my mind will not permit me to do so. Now the question arises to what soul has to do with bathing. If you have bathed somebody, it is the body, it's the corpus, it's the three-dimensional body that you have bathed. At no point of time you have bathed the soul. But how come your soul is talking about bathing? And this is exactly what samskara gives to you. Maybe you have been bathing this three-dimensional body, this corpus, but indirectly samskara, that grooming, happens on that soul. That soul develops the belongings towards the body, and it ensures that it doesn't discriminate, differentiate between the soul and the body itself. And this type of grooming will ensure that a proper personality is built, and that will definitely ensure that you have been able to achieve the highest spiritual achievements. And only by way of Adhyatma one can succeed in life, get detached from the material world, and achieve the ultimate goal, that is moksha prapti. This is one single preaching of Lord Krishna from Bhagavad Gita I have put forth. There are about 700 such preachings. So if at all we Bhagavad Bhaktas make an attempt to go through them and learn, probably the purpose of life will be definitely served. Before I end my small nirupana, I would like to offer my prayer to the Almighty. Sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashi dukha bhag bhavet, tat sat krishna arpanamastu.